Welcome back to Style by TST, and a very big thank you to my old and returning subscribers and my new subscribers. Welcome on board. So we are going to be making this dress. It's a pleated dress. It has this pinafore vibes, but it's not really a pinafore, right? So let's get straight into it. For this dress, you need about 2 to 3 years, depending on how full you want it to be, for the size that is similar to the one my model wore, right? That's the first video you saw, the first picture rather. So for this, you just need to measure what you need for your pleats. That's your full length minus your half length. I folded my fabric on the cross grain, that is by the 60 inches length, right? And I cut out two. That means I'm joining two different pieces together to give me the full length that I need. If you don't understand, let me know and I'll explain better, okay? But basically, I cut out the length I need for my pleats in two places to give me a really long fabric, right? So I had 120 inches at the end of the day to pleat. So for this, for the upper part, you're just going to fold your fabric. You're cutting front and back together. So you're folding your fabric into four. So one edge is going to be completely unfold and the other edge will have two open ends and one unfold, right? Your zipper allowance, you can use about 1 inch, 1.25, all right? So if you want to weave or you want to turn it out, whatever finishing method you want to use, right? So now on my starting line, I'm going to mark my shoulder divided by 2. I'm not adding any allowance to it because I don't want this to extend to the tip of her shoulder, all right? I want it to have this nice fit to seem like a pinafore, but it's not really a pinafore, right? So from my starting line or my shoulder line, I'll come down to my chest line, also known as the armhole line, and then I'll roll it out, then mark my shoulder divided by 2. That way I can get a straight line and curve out my armhole. So remember, I always say the human shoulder is not straight, right? So we are going to introduce our shoulder slope of 1 inch, and then we are going to connect it to our neck width. Okay, our neck width is 3 inches and her shoulder is 7 inches, so I have 5 inches, right, for my slope. So if yours is more, just measure 5 inches inwards and then connect, okay, to get your shoulder slope. So now to curve our armhole, I'm going to get the midpoint that is starting from my shoulder slope, then I'll come in by 0.5. Remember, in all my videos, I'll tell you 0.5 for front, 0.25 for back, right? To eliminate any form of excess fabric around the armhole. We know we want a nice fit, right? But for this, I'm using 0.5 for both front and back. We're not adding sleeves to this, and we need it to give that pinafore vibes, right? So now onto the neckline. For my neck depth, I used 1.5 inches for the back, and then for the front, I used about 6 to 6.5 inches. I can't really recall, but it's about 6 to 6.5 inches. You can always alter this measurement, okay? So if you want yours to be lower, you can use 7, 8 inches, right? So if you want the white to be more exposed, you can lower your neckline. You can also use the same neck depth for both front and back. You must not make your own back neck depth high like mine, okay? My client just wanted it to be higher, and that was what I did. So, you just, and again, you can do any shape you want. You must not do like round neck. You can do a V, you can do square, whatever it is that you want, okay? It's just the inspo that I followed to get this. If you have watched to this point, please subscribe, share this video to others so they can learn one or two from this. So let's continue. So on my chest line, I'm going to mark my horizontal measurements, right? So my bust circumference divided by 4 plus my allowance. You can add it to it, then you add your sewing allowance. For me, I'm using 1 inch, okay? So you can use 1 inch for your sewing allowance, then half for ease, right? I added a belt to this so she can tie it to give that snatched effect. She's still growing, so, and I'm doing a bagged out finishing, right? So the ease there is at least you'd have a year or two to still wear this. Then if it doesn't fit anymore, we can loosen it to release it more. So I didn't have enough time to make a sewing tutorial. So this is just the cutting, right? I just tried to explain how you're going to pleat the lower part on it. So if you need me to do another tutorial on pleats, just let me know in the comment section and I will do that. For me, like I said, I did a bagged out finishing. So I'm going to cut out lining for this. That is for the entire top part. If you watch the first clip of this video, you'll see how the backed out finishing looks. Thank you.